Are you wondering where the next big opportunity is coming in Montreal? Are you looking for your first home or for your next investment? Regardless of what it is, I have you covered. And today I'm going to be breaking down what the hottest neighborhoods in Montreal are in 2025. My name is LJ Aguinaga. I'm a real estate broker with LJ Realties. I'm also a property manager and a real estate investor. I've been following the market since I was 18 years old, and I've been a realtor for the last 17 years. So regardless of what's happening in real estate, I've got you covered. If you are looking to start building wealth through real estate, please feel free to reach out to me. All of my contact information is down below. There's nothing I love more than helping young investors start in this journey in this wonderful city. So without further ado, let's start breaking down which cities are really the biggest gainers for us. Now, I'm going to break this down in two different ways for you. The first way is what I'm actually seeing on the market with some of my clients as some of the most hot and attractive neighborhoods that we're moving to right now. And the second part of this video, I'm going to break down by actually pulling up what's called the Quebec barometer for the first quarter of 2021. And we're going to go through what the statistics are actually saying for what the biggest movers and what the biggest losers were actually through this quarter. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Starting off with number one, Verdun. Verdun is a very hot ticket item right now, based on the trendy cafes, restaurants, the family-friendly atmosphere, all the parks, the access to Verdun Beach, the restaurant, and the actual beach, the river access that we have there. It's become a really wonderful neighborhood because of all these reasons. You also have a nice mix of single-family homes, plexes, and condos. So really, regardless of what you're looking for, it's a pretty interesting destination for you. Above and beyond that, you're a few metro stops away from downtown Montreal, or about a 12 to 13 minute drive. So it really becomes one of these trendy neighborhoods that's got everything going for it in the right direction, and prices have been more affordable than the rest of the downtown core and the Sud-West, if you will. Number two on my list is Ville-Marie, and I'm talking the eastern part of Ville-Marie. Think Papineau, think the Jacques Cartier Bridge. This area is really fringe Ville-Marie, if you will, and it's an area that's still going through serious gentrification. It's an area that the city has promised to make large investments in. It's really fringe of Ville-Marie before you get into Hochelaga, but it's an area that still has a lot of upside because it's always been part of that fringe, if you will. You've got metro access, you've got access to a couple of interesting restaurants and cafes that have been opening up there. So this mix of reasons and the fact that it's still part of the Ville-Marie conglomeration makes it a pretty interesting place to be investing. I've seen clients that bought properties there 5 years and they're making great returns on them. And even people who are getting into the neighborhood now are doing super well because we've had a lot of condos start getting developed in the area, and you have access to the bridge, access to the metro system, access to downtown. Really, no matter how you cut it, you really are in the core of the city. But the area has always been a little bit forgotten, almost like Griffintown was a decade ago. Next on my list, number three, we have LaSalle. LaSalle has always been a beautiful area, and it has the wonderful Aguinaga Park. This park is absolutely spectacular, whether you want to go for walks with your dog, play a lot of the sports. You've got the metro station that's right there. So LaSalle has a lot of things going for it, and for whatever the reason, it was also a neighborhood that was typically forgotten about for many, many years. You've got a nice mix of duplexes, triplexes, and also a few single-family homes in the area. Also condos, obviously, like all the areas. You've got the entire area near the Aguinaga shopping center, which has really gotten developed. We've got tons of condos that were built there. You've got a great mall there, to be honest, and it's a mall that usually doesn't get much credit, but you've got the Sports Experts, the Bay, you've got restaurants, you've got the Winners, you've got access to a Michaels. There's really a lot going on in that area, and most people don't talk about it except for the people who have made the move to LaSalle and are enjoying all the benefits of having access and proximity to all of these wonderful stores. So if you have considered it, take another look at LaSalle because there's a lot of really great things going on there. Even some people from our team have been moving to LaSalle, and they've really been enjoying the lifestyle they've gotten from there. Number four on my list, Rosemont-La Petite-Patrie. Now, this is a neighborhood that has become more and more popular with the families. I have a lot of clients who originally bought in the plateau area, and then as time has passed, they wanted larger spaces, they wanted more green parks, they wanted better schools, they wanted all these things that were accessible, and obviously better pricing associated to it. So we've been expanding out our search a little bit. Now in Rosemont, you have the Angus area, which has gone through an excellent redevelopment. It's a beautiful neighborhood, beautiful homes, beautiful schools, and as you continue to go further, La Petite-Patrie has also gotten a lot of money invested into it recently. You've got a beautiful mix of plexes primarily, a couple condos in there as well, but it has provided a pretty interesting lifestyle for people. And you also have a lot of duplexes that have been converted into single family homes, which has made very interesting investments for people as well. So regardless of what you're looking for, if you have been living in the plateau area or around there and you want to have a more family centric environment, this has been a move that a lot of people have been exploring lately. Number 5 on my list, I have Lachine and Dorval. Now, even though they are two separate neighborhoods, we are going to join them together for the sake of this presentation today. People who've been moving there have been looking for two things. Lachine has a nice kind of old town feel. It's by the water. It's still super close to downtown. You've got three major highway accesses to it, so it has all of that going for it. And then Dorval is really attracting a few young professionals. You've got a few people who are originally from the West Island but want to be closer to downtown and are finding Dorval to be a nice kind of middle ground. You've got some beautiful new condos that have gone up in Dorval. You also have the water access to it. So these two neighborhoods have become pretty interesting for people who want to be closer to downtown but still have a foot in the West Island and have seen great appreciation happening for these reasons. So if that appeals to you, reach out. I'd love to talk to you more about those neighborhoods and how we can make one of those work for you. Now, what's fueling the fire? Why have people been deciding to move to these neighborhoods beyond the neighborhoods that we used to speak a lot about? Well, there's a couple different reasons. The first one is the affordability gap. The reality is the Plateau and MDG have just gotten too expensive for most families. Because of this, they've had to find alternate options, and that's what's led us to go a little bit further, expand from what used to be the core and get into these other neighborhoods that are becoming cooler, that are becoming trendier, and that you're really seeing the value and getting the most bang for your buck on right now. The next thing that we're seeing is a transit expansion. The REM is playing a huge role in this. This is going to expand all the way to the West Island, connect to the north. We already have the line that's going into Brossard. So the REM is going to be a huge game changer for a lot of people. We also have the promise of the extended blue line going into that area as well. And the train stations have been working as well. We've got a variety of different ways to get in and around this city commuting. Access to the airport is being changed by the REM as well. There's just so much happening from a public transit perspective that getting into these neighborhoods has become a lot easier, and that's also changed the game in terms of commuting to work, commuting to daycares, commuting to schools, getting to where people want to go, and that's obviously made it a lot more attractive to get into these other neighborhoods compared to what it previously was. Next, we have a lifestyle shift. Since the pandemic, everybody's living differently. Everyone used to be really concerned about being at the office 5 days a week, and proximity to your work was super important. Remote work has changed that for a lot of people. The reality is most people are in the office maybe 3 times a week, which means they're at home an extra 2 days a week, and some people are still at home entirely. So when you take this into consideration, we have people thinking a lot differently before they purchase a property about what their priorities are. You have people really focusing on school districts. You have people focusing on outdoor space. You have people focusing on the size of the properties. So again, this all compounds into the stuff that we were just talking about as to why people are expanding from their original search beyond just budgets. It's the fact that you're getting bigger properties, better properties, more green areas, more parks, more services is the reality. I grew up in the West Island, and the baseball teams, basketball teams, hockey teams, all that stuff that we had going for us was really excellent. And I know that as we expand into some of these other neighborhoods, you start to get those services more and more, and they're really just well serviced. So all of this comes down to the reasons why we see a lot of this shit happening right now. Now I'm going to shift this over right now and bring us to the first quarter barometer in the greater Montreal area, and we're going to see what neighborhoods are really the biggest winners and the biggest losers to give you a better idea financially what we've seen in the market. On this page, we're looking at total residential sales for these neighborhoods, and we can see which areas had the most increase in sales. So Saint-François, Saint-Vincent, Boisbriand, Duvernay, Mirable, Ville-Marie, these all had major increases ranging from 62 to 39% increases when compared to Q1 2024. So this is again for the stats for Q1 2025 over here. Some of the biggest losers is we had NDG Montreal West, Montreal North, Boucherville-Saint-Bruno, Belleuil, Mont-Saint-Hilaire, and Ile-des-Serres, where sales actually dropped across the board, ranging from 7% drops to 13% drops. Now, let's go over to this next page over here. We're going to look at how prices actually shifted. So if we look at single-family homes over here, Mirable was up 22% with an average price of $628,000. The NDG Montreal West market, interestingly, was up 22%. So even though sales was down, the actual pricing was up in that area 22%. Candiac-La Prairie up 20%, another huge winner over here. Saint-Lin-des-Laurentides up big at 19%, and Saint-Luc-L'Acadie 15%, also very large. Now let's see who didn't change or who had some of the biggest drops in average prices here. So Huntsic-Cartierville stayed solid at 0%. There was no change there. Brossard St. Lambert, I'm actually a little bit surprised by that. They have not moved. They were at 0% increase as well. Now, if we look at St. Lazare and Hudson, they were down 1%, but I think there was probably a bit of a lack of volume to see what happened there. We can dive into that a little bit deeper. And then Côte-des-Neiges, Côte-Saint-Luc is one area that's considered together for the sake of this representation. That was down 5% for residential homes. So again, that's a pretty interesting one because these are usually pretty attractive neighborhoods. And then finally, Mercier-Hochelaga, that's down 7% on the single family front. That's a pretty interesting market to get into because down 7% right now. It's an area that keeps on getting gentrified. It keeps on having people investing in it. So if you are looking to get in, the fact that prices are down right now makes it pretty interesting because I'd be surprised that market does not rebound over the course of this year, to be quite honest. If we move over to the condominium side right now, let's see who some of the biggest winners were. So we got Chambly over here. They were up 17%. We got Ouest de l'Île Sud. That was up 15%. Mirabel was up 15% on the condo market. Côte-des-Neiges, Côte-Saint-Luc was up 12%. So on this front, actually, the condos were up 12%, even though the houses were down 5%. And then Sud-Ouest de la Rive-Sud, that was up 11%. So we've got some pretty big gains, double-digit gains on the price of condos. That's really exciting to see. On the loser side, condos were down in NDG Montreal West. That average price point was down 2% at $551. We've got Candiac-La Prairie that was down 4%. Chateauguay that was down 7%. Very interesting, actually, because we just listed a condo there, and we actually got 2 offers on that condo. So I think it really depends. Obviously, it's always a case by case, but overall, that's what we're seeing there. Ile Perrot was down 7%, and then Saint Laurent was down 10%. Saint Laurent is historically a very strong market. We do have the Bois-Franc area. We do have some of the old Saint Laurent area. Some of those buildings might be getting a little bit older. There might be some special assessments happening in there right now. So that might be one of the reasons why some of the prices might be a little bit compressed. But again, double-digit decreases in average pricing is very interesting. I mark an opportunity. So here we're seeing 2 sides of the equation, right? We see who the biggest winners are, so where some of the biggest trends of money moving and money increasing is, but also the biggest losers. And given the general Montreal market right now, I'd say that some of these losers might actually provide us with the biggest opportunities in real estate to see nice returns over the course of the next, I always say 5 years, but even in this case, 12 to 24 months, given the fact that interest rates are stable. They've actually come down quite a bit from where they were a year to 2 ago. So you take these factors, you mix them together. I would look at both things right now and see what's actually happening. And that's why I wanted to present these statistics, because at the end of the day, regardless of what I'm feeling, what I'm seeing, the numbers don't lie. And this is really where some of the meat and potatoes is of this analysis and calculation for you. What did you think about that? Did some of the neighborhoods surprise you? If you're looking to buy right now, make sure that you follow these simple steps. Like always, make sure you're pre-approved, make sure you're working with a competent professional, and make sure you've done your research. If you've done these things, you're putting yourself in a much better position to succeed at this purchasing process right now. If you're looking for a great team, feel free to reach out to us. We would be more than happy to work with you. If you're looking to invest, look for up and coming streets, look for zoning changes, and look for properties that seem a little bit abandoned. You could get a really interesting deal on a property that has undervalued rents right now that you can optimize. Again, optimizing is one of the best ways to make money in real estate, and the reality is that's where I've made the bulk of my revenues in the real estate world, investing. So find a deal that has opportunity, that has meat left on the bone, if you will, so you can really optimize that deal and refinance it, and then go out and do it with another property, because the name of the game is to increase your portfolio and eventually be able to retire on this income, but it takes a few properties in order to do that. So feel free to reach out if you have more questions on that. I'd be happy to walk you through that process as well. Bottom line, Montreal's market is not uniformly hot. These are the areas that we're really seeing the biggest upside in right now. And we've also talked about some of the biggest losers where there might be upside potential. If you play your cards right, they're more than likely about to rebound. So see what happens in that regard. Again, feel free to book a call with me. All of my contact information is right below. I'd be more than happy to walk you through your first buying process. And if you are a seasoned investor, I work with a lot of seasoned investors because this is what we do. We eat, breathe, and sleep real estate all day, every day. Thank you so much for watching this video. I look forward to seeing you on the next one.